on Dr. Zirange to record his opinions on this presentation in the capacity of teaching. Dr. Zirange, please.
I hope that all of you are awake, and for that the credit goes to Dr. Burr. The way he presented his speech on the paper, the way he synchronized the literature as well as the fields together, it means that he should get congratulated for that. So I request all of you to congratulate him. It is my request to the organizers that such speeches should be given little more time so that they may open the new avenues to the budding scholars, those who are present among the audience. With the due respect to the organizers' request, I will not speak much about all these things. But see, in 1 or 2 minutes, I will give my observations of the world view of South Asian region. Though not typically from the literature point of view, from economic point of view, from social point of view, from cultural point of view, we should feel proud that South Asia now is becoming the center of attraction of the whole world for its cultural diversity, for its literary diversity, at the same time economic diversity. So you may think or you may take it, though there are some weaknesses in this region, we should utilize those weaknesses as our strengths, and we should materialize our weaknesses from the point of these strengths, and we should attract the attention of the whole world. With this, I conclude my observation, and I really congratulate the organizers also that they have invited such a great people, those who have done proper study of the things, and they have also presented, though in a short time, he has taken a bird eye view of the whole things together. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir, for recording your valuable opinion, valuable observations on the presentation of Dr. Bharat. Now, as we have already been running short of time, we are already behind the schedule. I would like to, I am at pains in fact to inform you that we are not supposed to have any break. Right after this, we are going to start with the paper presentation session. And before that, I extend my deepest sense of gratitude in behalf of Higher Education and Research Society to Dr. Bharat for having made a beautiful and brilliant presentation over here. And also, it's my duty to extend a similar sense of gratitude to you, Dr. Zirange sir, for having spared your time, and of course, as you have concluded your remark within a very short time. Again, thank you so much, both of you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, we are going to start with another session. In silence. in the Taming of Women by P. Sivakami. The chairperson that we have had for this session is Dr. Smita Nagori. So may I please request you, ma'am, to come upon the stage and act as the chairperson of this session. Apart from this, there are two referees for this session. The referees are supposed to record their remarks in the writing and offer them to the chairperson. The referees are not supposed to speak here. The chairperson would record his as well as the referees' views. And the referees are Ms. Pratnya Sawant Taide and Mr. B.K. Baikrao. So may I please call upon stage Ms. Smita Nagori, Pratnya Sawant Taide and B.K. Baikrao. That was already declared here, has been Dr. Nagya Naik from Associate Professor, Department of English, Umpu University, Shimoga. So may I please request Dr. Nagya Naik to come upon the stage to chair this session. The referees are also different. May I please request Dr. Veena Gupta from Gwalior to come upon the stage to act as the referee. Dr. Veena Gupta, please. Again, another referee. May I please request Dr. Raju Dhinakar from Chennai to come upon the stage and take the seat as a referee. Dr. Nagya, please take your seat as the chairperson. Dr. Veena Gupta, may I please request you to again, I would like to invite all the paper presenters on the stage. First of all, may I call upon Ms. Maya Vinay to come upon the stage. May I also request Ms. Shilpi Bhattacharya to come upon the stage for making the presentation. May I request Elam Fatima to come upon the stage for making the presentation, please. And last but not least, may I please call upon Devika Rani to come upon the stage and act as a presenter. May I please request Dr. B.K. Baikrao to come upon the stage and felicitate Dr. Nagya Naik by offering a bouquet, please. Mr. B.K. Baikrao. Dr. Raju Dinkar, Penduma.
I'm a PhD scholar and I'm going to present this paper on behalf of my guide, Dr. Maya Vinay. Cultures, economies, politics, everything. I mean, even the use of this particular language, English, is the result of this very concept of globalization. So, and today we'll focus on how this idea of globalization affects the food in the writings of Indian English writers. Less constrained by time and space, and individuals and groups become increasingly more aware of the world as an entity of which they themselves are a part. It's the whole world, is the concept of shrinking, be it the internet, everything. It's like people are becoming more, closer and closer, not physically, but of this through technology and everything. And food here, it plays an interesting, role. Like it's an interesting cultural artifact. At one level, it is a measure of sustenance, and at another, it is one of the most leisurely aspects of material culture. We spend like every day, whether we spend on anything else or not, we definitely spend on food. We can, buy food stuff, buy our meals, everything. I mean, it's a very important, part of our spending. And like critic Frischler, he maintains that food symbolically represents a society, that is, its diversity, hierarchy, and organization, and at the same time both its oneness and otherness of whoever eats differently. Food is a significant topic addressed widely by Indian English writers like Jhumpal Lahiri, Manju Kapoor, Anita Nair, Kiran Desai, Lavanya Shankar, and so on. But in this paper, we'll focus mostly on the works of Anita Nair and Lavanya Shankar. And the objectives of this paper will be to re-examine the popular claims that you are what you eat. I mean, your whole culture, your whole thing, it shows, it reflects in the food habit. And it draws attention as to how food also acts as a negotiator of the identity, and also as to how consumption or choice of food or cuisine provides inclusion or exclusion to a particular social group or assign a particular status. Like for example, even in today's this conference, this chose to have vegetarian meal. It was written that it's a vegetarian meal. Why? Because in India, vegetarianism is a very accepted concept. I mean, there might be people who might actually refuse to have a meal if it's non-vegetarian. So India, vegetarianism is very very in thing. But in the West, the same thing might not be happening. I mean, they might not even they not recognize that food can be vegetarian. For them, it's like pastas and salads can only be vegetarian. They could not identify that India has such a rich culture of vegetarian meals. And this paper also draws attention to the concept of fusion cuisine in literature and the counter-hegemony resistance provided to the globalization of cuisine in the fictional works of Anita Nair and Lavanya Shankar. Now, this fusion cuisine, like today we'll find this idea of Chinese Manchurian. What the real Chinese is very different from what is being served in India, and it's like the Indianized version of Chinese. Even Maggi's, they have Mac burgers, Mac pizza. Maggi in US or UK, I mean, they don't even have the idea of vegetarian. But here in India, you will not find any Maggi serving beef or pork, because they, take into consideration that our Indian religious, ideas that have regarding beef and pork. So all this, Maggi has become Indianized. It is, serving fusion cuisine. And a global individual is also one who, increasingly opens to myriad of food cultures, including non-vegetarian foods, despite his traditional upbringing. Now, even in corporate cultures, we find this that the concept where you have to have a certain kind of food to blend into the local atmosphere. And generally, in corporate cultures, marginalization or inclusion happens on account of his choice or consumption of foods. That inclusion-exclusion policy here refers to the status deemed to a person on account of their food preferences, especially the vegetarian or non-vegetarian status. Now, globalization of cuisines. Now, due to globalization, the native markets are invaded and native cuisines are exposed to people across the globe. At the same time, it is also leads to an infiltration and proliferation by multinational giant firms which create false ethnic customization like chicken mac tikka or paneer tikka rolls or Indian Manchurian to cater to the taste buds of the locals. Now, this globalization also leads to the change of the idea of things like the Indian chicken curry. The Indian chicken curry served in a restaurant in London is very different from what we have in our own traditional settings. So this also takes away the ethnic flavor away from it. Now, elevation of ethnic cuisine or upholding heterogeneity of indigenous dishes by Indian English writers can also be seen as a counter discourse to a tremendous concern throughout the world over the McDonald's or Subway culture. So, these writers like Anita Nair, they show their very authentic traditional way of cooking food, which this globalization takes away. That how the idea of the traditional food just vanishes, and everything is market made. Even things like very basic things like coconut milk, which people used to make from in their houses, are now found in Tetra packs, which takes away this delicate flavor of that food. And these ethnic dishes dishes represented by many Indian English writers are difficult to spell out in contemporary kitchens, despite all its modern innovative gadgets. Most of the things which we use now, all the spices are used to be hand planted at one point. Now we get all those ready-made packets and Tetra packs, everything ready-made, but at the cost of losing their flavor. An example of this counter discourse of localization of food by Indian English writers by providing native ingredients and indigenous methods of preparation. These writers kind of, they go against this idea of, taking away the ethnicity from the ethnic foods. They, provide, like in Anita Nair's The Better Man, Anita Nair, she passionately describes the process involved in preparation of Trishna Nair's famous chicken curry. Here, she'll delicately describe how it is being made, like the old bronze urali will be dragged out and cleaned. It will be kept on the wood fire to warm its belly. A cup full of coconut oil, shallots, ginger, and green chili sliced fine would be hissed and spluttering annoyance with the curry leaf still joined. And then she'll describe very minutely how the traditional dishes are being prepared. And it also refers to the status given to a person on account of the vegetarian. The inclusion-exclusion policy amid food preferences, it refers to the status deemed to a person on account of the vegetarian or non-vegetarian status. Like genuine corporate cultures, marginalization of or inclusion happens on account of his choice of consumption of food. So, we can take example from Anand in the Ho factory. Since there's less of time, I would like to conclude that food is it can be used to distinguish as well as discriminate and include and exclude people from a particular environment. And food choices establish boundaries and borders. So the borders are broken as well as borders are created just because of the type of food a person has. So I'd like to thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maya. Now, the second presenter is Vinit Pandit, I myself. The topic of my presentation is locating the post-colonial and the subaltern question. Actually, I have chosen two definitions of post-colonialism. One is from the year 2012 and the other being from 2013, the current year. Actually, I'm going to make it a very brief presentation because I cannot afford to breach the rules when I am, of course, asking others to make it as short as possible. So this is the definition that I have derived from the Wikipedia. I won't read it. Second one is also there. Actually, post-colonialism nowadays is considered as an epistemology, as an ethics, and a politics. The field of post-colonialism address the politics of knowledge, the matters that constitute the post-colonial identity of a decolonized people, which derives from, first, the colonizer's generation of cultural knowledge about the colonized people, and second, how that Western cultural knowledge was applied to subjugate a non-European people into a profitable colony of the European mother country, which after initial invasion was effected by means of the cultural identities of colonizer and the colonized. This is the definition I have derived from it. Now I would like to move on to the definition of colonialism. These are the definitions derived from various dictionaries. The first one, Random House, second also from the same dictionary. The third one from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Then again, the fourth definition is derived from WordNet 3.0 version. And the last one from Concise Oxford Dictionary. And actually, the definition that I would like to, in fact, emphasize here is the practice by which the powerful country controls another country or other countries. This is a very simple kind of definition to me of colonialism. But better I would prefer this one from the Wikipedia. Colonization, or the spelling is different, occurs when any one or more species populate an area. So populating an area, this is what actually is what I would like to emphasize here. and the term which is derived from the Latin